What's up? Show up. It's about showing up. Showing up if you have tryouts, showing up to your work, showing up if you have chores to do. What does that really mean? You need to show up with pride, conviction, and what you need to perform your best that day. So, a lot of these videos are inspired by what's going on in my life. I was recruited, not really. I mean, I like to say it sounds really cool, but I was asked to basically coach the JV basketball team where my son goes to school. I helped out last year. They're like, "Oh, you'd be a great coach," whatever. So got recruited to do it. Not really recruited, but asked. So whatever. I do make some big money on that deal. But what I noticed is we had this jamboree. It's basically a tournament, a scrimmage, where all the kids get to play against each other in different schools. No scores taken, all stuff. The kids keep track of the score. The kids want to win. I don't know why we don't keep score or any of that. But what I noticed is there's some kids during the week that I was like, man, they have the skill. They can make right-handed layups. They can make left-handed layups. They can score at three different angles, all that stuff. But when it came to game time, they just kind of got lost. They got hidden, right? They didn't really show up, weren't really aggressive, didn't really show up where it's like, yeah, that kid's a standout. That's really noticeable. So it doesn't really matter if you're working your tail off on all the drills, all the skill development, and you have, the best game on paper. You can do layups, you can do floaters, you can do three-pointers, you have all that in your bag. But when it's time for game time, if none of that comes out and you don't show up as a player that's a standout, as a coach, that takes into effect of being like, oh, do I want to put this kid on the team or do I not? Do I want to make cuts? Obviously, I have to make cuts, but do I want to move another kid up who showed way more aggressiveness and all that stuff? Obviously, it's basketball, so you got to be aggressive. You got to, show up. You got to do all these things. So, what's the harder thing to teach, right? Uh, Physical, emotional, motivation, or skill. I can teach skill all day long, but if you don't have the drive to be great, you don't have the drive to show up when it matters, that's really hard to teach. That's the tough one, right? So you have to think about not only in yourself, but when you hire talent, are they going to show up and perform the next year, 10 years, however long you're looking to employ this person? Are they going to show up? Forgot about that. Still have a little tendonitis in my elbow. But so, are they going to show up when it matters most? Even when it comes to doing chores at home with my kids. I have two kids, so I noticed my daughter, her chores have improved tremendously when it comes to, little things. She puts more effort into it, and I always try to compliment and add praise around that. Some people may agree or disagree, but I want to always encourage the effort around stuff. I want to encourage when they do something and it shows that they took pride in it. I want to let them know that I noticed it. So I noticed it. So I complimented her on that because I think that matters more in life. Obviously, there was also a research paper done with McDonald's where they found out, is it more valuable to praise people about the good job they did or are doing or give them more money? The research basically showed it was, flatlined. It didn't matter one way or the other. Well, that's a huge deal when it comes to McDonald's and you have massive amounts of employees. That means you can get away with praising people as opposed to raising salaries or raising paychecks or hourly wages. Obviously, this doesn't apply to everybody, but as a whole, this is huge because as a corporation, you're going to save massive amounts of money in understanding that research. Obviously, research could be biased, all that stuff. Who knows? But it's something to take to know of, like, you can give praise to really impact somebody's life to help them improve, strive. On that note, like, this is about showing up. Like, are you really showing up in life? Are you showing up with your kids? Are you showing up in your relationships? Are you showing up at work? With your own business, with your employees, or in your job? Are you showing up, doing all your tasks, doing all the things they ask of you, doing all those things, right? Like, and it's multi-tiered. You might be showing up and crushing it, always there, always around, very communicative, but your results are poor. Or your results might be off the charts and you're always performing, getting things running and smoothly, and people can always count on you to produce the results. You're the results guy, but you don't show up on time. You're not as there. You leave the office early. You're not that great with relationships. You normally have to have two of the three. So relationships, time, and results, right? Which one of the three or two are you going to take advantage of? You're typically not going to be great at all three, but you want to show up in those two departments. Like, do you show up with yourself? Are you being responsible with your stuff? Right? Like, I have younger kids, they tend to forget things, they are tough. Obviously, I have a son and daughter, one does better than the other, not going to mention who, but even myself, like, I make mistakes, I forget things. So I create rituals and systems in place that will make me more successful. If I'm going to the gym, I have a gym bag. Everything's in my gym bag. It never leaves my gym bag. If I take it out, I got to put it back in that gym bag, because I know when I go to the gym, I have a checklist of putting certain clothes in there after I shower, certain shoes that if I need to work out in, what day it is. So I follow that routine. It systematizes it, so it makes my life easier. I think less. I can be more productive because I'm not putting time and effort into that. So if I can go to the gym, I'm not frustrated, and it's hard for me to show up because I'm missing something. Didn't have the shoes I needed, or I forgot my headphones, all that stuff. Granted, there's times that I show up and I forget my headphones and I work out even harder because I normally listen to audiobooks and content as opposed to listen to music. So when I do listen to music, I'm like, man, you get a great workout listening to music. Anyway, don't want to digress too much. So it's about showing up in all areas of your life. What does that take, right? It's really simple. It takes being prideful in what you're doing. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's scrubbing the baseboard. Scrub them the best way possible. Make it so it looks so good people can eat off of them. That phrase, so like, make it so somebody strive for greatness whenever you do anything. I read this quote once where it was like, it takes the same amount of effort to doodle that it does to draw a masterpiece. So stop doodling and start drawing masterpieces. Create and go after what you want. You might not have the skill set yet, but you can always put more passion, effort, and intensity into what you're doing. So find a way to always bring your A game, like best attitude, right? You might suck at ice skating, right? You might suck at basketball. You might suck at drawing. You might suck at math. You might suck at leadership. You might suck at whatever it may be. It doesn't matter, but you can bring the best to the table, and you can show some vulnerability and work on it. So what does that mean? If your leadership skills aren't great, if you don't show up time, find some time management books. Get a coach. Have somebody mentor you. Whatever it takes. Obviously, I have links in the bio below for coaches. If you need help with systems, you need to hire talent, any of those areas that can take stuff off your plate or improve your plate, I'm here to help you, or get help. Doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. That is a lesson I had to learn the hard way. It's tough. I thought I could do everything myself, but you'll learn very fast. If you want to grow and succeed in life, you need a coach, and you should get a coach or a mentor that's done it, or at least has done it for other people, all those things. So remember, let's show up. Take pride in what you do. Don't go out there with low effort. Don't go out there expecting good results if you haven't put in the time and effort. So, analyze what you're doing. Look at other people. Look who the stars are rising above everybody. My football coach in college was like, who's going to stand out here? Right now everybody's like at the middle of the pack. Nobody's stepping up. Nobody's standing out. How can you stand out, right? Always show up early before everybody. Take lead, take charge of your drills. Tell people what to do, right? You might not be the fastest athlete. You might not be the smartest in business. You might not be, whatever on those skill sets. You can work on those, but always bring your A game to the table and bring your effort to the table and show up more and more every day. It's only about getting 1% better. I'm way over time. I'm like an ice cube in here. Remember to show up, take care, God bless, and much success.